Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. We're going to be talking about Smackdown from April the 15th, 2022. Got quite a few news and notes here. Some people are very, very, very upset. Specifically about LA Knight. We'll be talking about that in a second. First story. Meltzer puts out this article that says that nobody is allowed to use their real names or former independent names in WWE anymore. It is an edict from Vince McMahon. That's why they're changing everybody's name. Like Raul Mendoza is now Cruz del Toro. And Raquel Gonzalez has gone from Raquel Gonzalez to Raquel Rodriguez. And Walter has gone from Gunther. And Marcel Bartel, he's now known as Ludwig Kaiser, because they're changing everybody's name because those are their real names. And I say to yourself, yes, obviously they're going to do that. They've been doing that for 40 years. Only on certain occasions do people use their real names in WWE. There's a very, very, very low number of people that when you look at them, you say that is their real name on television. You know, Bret Hart, Randy Orton. You know, there's a couple of guys who use their real names, but not a lot. You know, not a lot of them. But WWE recently, very, very recently, got into a huge tug of war with Chelsea Green and with Keith Lee over trademarking their names. And those are their actual names. So WWE very recently, within the last 2 years, had this incredible tug of war with Keith Lee over his name and with Chelsea Green over her name. And WWE probably, they likely knew that these were their government names, but was kind of like, these are also trademark names. How do we, and they just said, fuck it. We're going to cut out the middleman. Nobody can use their real names. Everything has to be 100% owned by WWE, which seems to be a way of dealing with that problem. Now, of course, a lot of the fans are upset, and I say to them, you don't want WWE trademarking their real names because you say that's not fair. How could they own the name John Cena? That's John Cena's name. But you don't want them to change the name either. So what exactly do you want them to do? Not print promotional materials? They're not supposed to make trading cards or action figures or anything like that because they're not going to make any money off of it because they don't own the name. So why would they promote that name at all? Why would they promote the image that's going to make somebody else any money and not make them any? The whole point of the deal is for it to be a win-win deal. For you to sign over the usage of this name for the length of this contract, we're going to get paid, you're going to get paid. Right? That's the point of this fucking deal, is so that we all can make money off this. If it's going to be a situation where, oh, you own the name and we just get to put the name on the billboards. We don't get to sell any action figures or any cards or anything because we don't own the name. We don't own the license to this. Then what is our incentive to promote you? There is no incentive. So it's like fans just want to have their own way. I don't care that Vince wants to change people's names because he's been doing it. You know, you remember Razor Ramon? Scott Hall went over and did his own thing. He became Scott Hall under a different name. Right? WCW is Scott Hall, WWF is Razor Ramon. I'm okay with that. I don't care that they're changing Raul Mendoza's name or Gunther's name or Marcel Bartel's name. I don't care. They've been doing that shit forever. You know, they've been doing it forever. Guys have been coming in. They say, oh, change your name. You're not Sid Vicious anymore. You're Sid Justice. We're still not using Sid Vicious. Even you're not Sid Justice anymore. We're going to call you, Psycho Sid. We're going to keep the name Sid. We're just going to keep changing. We're going to keep changing the adjective. You know, that's all it's going to be. We're just going to keep changing that adjective. All right. So Meltzer telling everybody things that they already know. That's stupid. Meltzer is stupid. And if you think that this is some kind of big surprise, come on, you're slow. Come on, get over it. Now, this is interesting. Brett Lauderdale, who's the owner of GCW, he said that he had a meeting with Stephanie McMahon over WrestleMania. He posted a picture of him with Stephanie McMahon. Said he was invited to WrestleMania because WWE is interested in their Bloodsport brand. Now, it was no real details put into this, but there's talks that maybe WWE is looking to purchase Bloodsport or maybe looking to license Bloodsport for the network. Kind of like they do with Progress and WXW, where it's just, instead of going with Fight, WWE would basically buy the library or pieces of the library for Bloodsport. Bloodsport, I think, was founded by Matt Riddle. It is now being promoted by Josh Barnett, UFC legend, former MMA fighter, New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler. I think he has a podcast now. He's a regular on the Joe Rogan show. I like Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. I love Bloodsport. Most people, when you talk to them, they'll say, if they know what Bloodsport is, they'll say that WWE tried to steal the idea with Raw Underground. And of course, Josh Barnett was calling them out for that and everything. So maybe that's why they just said, you know what, let's just go get the authentic thing. Now, we don't know, again, no details over what it actually is. Are they looking to buy it? Are they looking to, just bring it to the network? What are they looking to do? Now, Bloodsport is not extra bloody. It is essentially just hard-hitting MMA style pro wrestling. There's some blood, but there's not a lot of blood, and it's not typical GCW fare where somebody's getting stabbed in the head with a fork or anything like that. It's just basically hard-hitting pro wrestling, and you win by submission or knockout. So there's no pinfalls. So it's basically, I think it is submission or knockout. And the shows are short. They're like an hour and a half. Fantastic stuff. And as a matter of fact, I didn't watch Bloodsport 8 yet because WrestleMania, there was just so much stuff. I got something to look forward to now. I can watch Bloodsport. I have to find it somewhere, though. So, do I think WWE is going to buy Bloodsport? No. Do I think they're going to maybe buy the library and, want the past and the future on the network? Yes, absolutely. And they would be smart to do that because they want to diversify the network and be able to bring different types of matches. And it would be great for GCW too because WWE is going to pay them. So that means they can run bigger buildings, they can hire more talent, they can do more stuff. And they can likely make more money with WWE than they will off Fight. So I would say go for it if I was Brett Lauderdale. Now, if they were trying to buy the brand from you, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but it depends. The Bloodsport is one of the brands they don't really care that much about. Now, for people who might be a little confused, GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, they own and they have their wrestlers promote certain brands, like Effie, who was a guy who wrestles in fishnets. He has the Big Gay Brunch. Then there's, I think, AJ Gray. He has For the Culture. That's the Black BIPOC organization. Then the MMA fighters have, with Josh Barnett, it was Matt Riddle at first. They have Bloodsport. And then there's other things out there that's under the GCW banner. So it's like GCW is like the NWA kind of, and then there's all these smaller promotions that are specialized in one thing or another. And Bloodsport is one of the brands. And if WWE wants to buy it, I don't know if I would sell the whole brand to them, but I definitely would sell the library. I mean, what else are you going to do with it? Nobody's going to make DVDs unless GCW is going to have its own network. But you never know. And Brett Lauderdale seems to be a pretty smart guy. Maybe if Stephanie McMahon made some type of offer, he's probably going to call Tony Khan immediately and be like, hey, WWE's trying to buy the GCW library and they're talking, X amount of dollars. Are you interested? I'm not trying to sell my fucking company, but if they're offering me X, Y, and Z for the library, you might want to have the library too. I mean, a lot of the guys that you've signed and your fans are already fans of GCW. Some of them are anyway. Are you willing to pony up some cash? Start that bidding war. I wouldn't make a decision at all with WWE without talking to Tony Khan first, just to see where his mind is on it. I know he just spent a lot of cash on Ring of Honor, so maybe he's not going to be that interested in whatever, Brett Lauderdale has. But WWE is looking to maybe invest in your brand. I will go ahead and do it. There's nothing about Bloodsport that's going to be against what WWE does. Outside of the name being literal Bloodsport. They might not like that. But other than that, there's nothing on that show that's going to be over the top. It's all submission and grappling stuff. So yeah, they would definitely be down for that. All right, so the final thing that had people all in a tizzy. LA Knight is working as a manager for Mace on SmackDown. It was a dark match, and I didn't believe it at first because I was like, because some people had said it was that he was going to be his tag team partner, and I was like, I don't like either idea. But then I saw the pictures of Mace and LA Knight in suits, and I was like, oh, good Lord. And then I saw the synopsis, and it says that LA Knight cut a promo about Knight Model Management, and his first client is Mace. Apparently, they're going to repackage Mace. It's going to be his third repackaging. This guy's been on the roster for like 2 years. He's already been repackaged 3 times. What is he, Crush? What is he, who is he, Mustafa? We're going to keep changing this guy's name until he get it right. Now, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of LA Knight being a manager. I do think that his verbal skills are his strong suit, but I think he's a pretty good wrestler too. Now, just because he's in a managerial position doesn't mean he will never wrestle. And I think that's where people are going to get things a little flippy. It get kind of off the rails right there. They think he's a manager, he's never going to wrestle again. It's like, no, MVP is also a manager, and he occasionally wrestles. It happens. He's just not going to be a wrestler. LA Knight is 40 years old. We don't know if he's currently injured or anything like that. We don't know. Like, he might be just doing this while he's healing up, as far as injuries or whatever. So we don't know if he's hurt and this is just a place, Band-Aid on what they're doing right now. I like the idea of him having his own stable, though. I love that. If he's going to be the centerpiece of a stable, we got to get better talent than Mace, but I like the idea. If he can't wrestle and we don't want to wrestle, I would rather him be a manager in WWE than be unemployed or working in NWA or working in Impact. I think this is a better usage of him, and I think that he can get himself out of this situation. WWE has shown that, guys can be managers or be kind of off-screen talents and then work their way back in. CM Punk for a while, when he was hurt, he was kind of the manager for the New Nexus. He was kind of the voice of that group. He was on the sideline during the time, if I remember correctly. Sami Zayn for a while was a manager for Nakamura and Cesaro. Like, these guys float in and float out of these. It helps the company if you can do different things. We're going to talk about this again when it comes to Drew Gulak, because everybody's losing their mind over Drew Gulak too, as if they really care about Drew Gulak. But that's neither here nor there. I love LA Knight. I think he's great. I do think that they're probably looking at him and saying he's a bit old, and they want to use him to put over younger talent. But instead of putting him over in the ring, he's going to put him over on the mic. And I still think he will wrestle. So I'm okay with it as long as it turns into some type of in-ring role for him. But I think he's going to easily overshadow the talent. And that's going to be his downfall if he becomes a manager. He's going to be the voice for some uncharismatic guys. Like Mace, I don't see it. I know a lot of people like that guy, but I haven't seen anything out of him personally that makes me say, you know what? Mace got something. I just haven't seen it yet. He's a tall guy. He seems to really like wrestling. He seems to be a big fan of it. But just because you're a fan doesn't mean that you should be doing it. I'm a fan of a lot of things I can't fucking do. I don't get to draw Batman because I'm a fan of Batman comics, dog. Nobody's going to let me fucking draw Spider-Man. I fucking suck at it. I'm sorry. I could be the biggest fan in the world of Spider-Man. I can't fucking draw. So just because you're a fan of wrestling doesn't mean you should be a wrestler. Find something else, But that's just off of what I've seen of him thus far. They could coach him up, cover him in smoke and mirrors, and all of a sudden I think he's the best thing in the world. I don't know. But I'm not going to hate this idea until I see it in action and see what the stable looks like, who's in the stable, and whether it means that LA Knight will never wrestle. If it means LA Knight will never wrestle, then yeah, I'm probably not going to be a fan of it. But it depends on the execution, and I want to see what the execution looks like. Apparently, they're just trying it out right now, and it wasn't on TV yet, so that means that they're just toying with it. But Knight Model Management as a name It could just be night management, but we don't know. I want to see how it turns out first. All right, so let's start the show. Randy Orton and Riddle appear. Riddle is off focus as usual. And Randy Orton said that the Usos invaded Raw, so they're here on SmackDown. The Usos came out there and said they know all about Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, the Viper, ran down everything that he's ever done, and then said that you're dealing with the Usos right now, Oos. You're dealing with the Usos, Oos. And Randy says that he respects the family, loves their family, but these two are assholes. And then he got it out before they bleeped it. And accepted their challenge for the winner-take-all match at WrestleMania Backlash. The Usos leave the ring, then they come back and they knock Riddle off the top rope. So Riddle is pissed. Later, Riddle challenges Jimmy Uso to a match. Jimmy Uso didn't give a shit, but they wrestled the match anyway. So that was the main event of the evening. Riddle versus Jimmy Uso. It was a fun match. Very unique main event. Featuring two guys who aren't, generally speaking, main event talents. Like, both of them are over, but main event over? I don't know. And then we didn't get any Roman tonight either. No Roman at all. That was very weird. But Riddle wins with the RKO. He's starting to adopt the RKO as a finish. Obviously, there was some Jey Uso shenanigans and Randy Orton outside the ring. The absolute utter state of the WWE's referees by this referee just allowing Randy Orton to be in the ring as he made the 3 count. I'm like, ref, why is Randy Orton in the ring? Why are you just counting? Like, Randy Orton big ass ain't in the ring. He like 6'5". He's standing right behind you. And I'm like, oh God, that's so frustrating. Randy was just so excited. He was so excited all evening. He's having a blast doing this thing. And it's really fun. And I was thinking maybe they should subvert expectations and have RK Bro beat the Usos for the titles. Just to piss off Roman and give the Usos something to do. Because wait, once they win the titles, what's left? You got nothing left. They're going to fight the NXT Tag Team Champions? You going to fight Pretty Deadly? You going to fight Mustache Mountain? Like, what's next? I don't know. But I love the Usos, man. The Usos are so much fun. They don't get enough credit for being as good as they are. RK Bro is also very good. They've changed their graphics. No longer are they birds. I think there's grasshoppers or crickets or something now. I don't understand what the fuck's going on. They also got the dueling snakes where Randy's snake is trying to eat Riddle's snake, and I'm just like, it's too much of that shit. All right, it's too cartoonish. But Randy is having a blast. Riddle is having fun. The Usos are at the top of their game. This is everybody clicking on the right cylinders. Probably not what I would have put for a main event of the show, but I certainly wasn't mad it was the main event because they actually told a story throughout the evening. But it wasn't the story, obviously, that, I wanted to be told. It's just, it was there. So Naomi and Sasha Banks said that Boss and Glow run the show, but now Rhea Ripley is back and they want their title shot. So instead of getting that title shot tonight, they're going to get it on Monday, apparently. So Rhea Ripley defeated Naomi with the Riptide, and it was a pretty solid match. I had no problem with this match, and I really didn't see anything about it that I thought was too stupid or lame or anything like that. It was a good showcase for Naomi. Rhea Ripley needed to win, and her winning didn't hurt Naomi at all. But of course they're 50-50 booking because Naomi beat Liv Morgan. But I think that we're just building up to Liv and Rhea finally breaking up. It's likely, finally, right? They've been tag team for 4 weeks. That's a long time in WWE these days. So I definitely see them breaking up on Monday. But Rhea Ripley versus Naomi was fun. Happy Corbin says that Madcap Moss wasn't on his level, that he was his lackey, and his lackey had become an anchor around his ankle, and that he's going to be happy once he sees Madcap Moss become a laughing stock of SmackDown. Madcap Moss then was being interviewed by Drew Gulak, who is now a backstage interviewer. We'll talk about that in a second. Madcap Moss says that people liked Corbin better as a bum, and that Corbin taught him all those jokes. That's why they were so bad. Instead of Angel and Umberto want to make him a joke, they can do a kiss cam on his, and he pointed to his butt and bent over and did like a naughty face. And I thought that was very, very corny. But they did the kiss cam thing on his butt cheek. It was so fucking dumb. It was so fucking dumb. So Madcap Moss wrestled Humberto Carrillo of the Lethal Lovers, Los Lotharios. Los Lotharios did their kiss cam on the way to the ring, and they found themselves a cute little black girl. She's so cute. She's adorable. She looked like she's about 20. She looked very young. She was adorable. Not in a sexy way. She just looked cute. You know, like a niece. Madcap Moss wins the match with a net breaker. Then Angel lectured Umberto about losing. I was very upset about this because I'm saying, all right, Madcap Moss, they're not changing his theme song, they're not changing his name, they're not changing his gimmick, they're not changing his look. He's separated from Baron Corbin. We need to change all of this. The suspenders have got to go. The music sucks. It's got to go. The name sucks. It's got to go. All of this sucks. It got to go. All right? Change it. You're changing everybody else shit. So Adam Pearce, he shows up, and Charlotte wants to know what's the big deal about the I Quit match. And Adam Pearce was like, oh yeah, the bosses, yeah, they did that. Drew Gulak interrupted and wanted an evaluation on his backstage interviewing skills. Charlotte says, well, if you want an evaluation, how about you interview me in the ring, and then you'll get your evaluation. So Drew Gulak standing in the ring gives this big, haughty introduction for Charlotte Flair. Then he promised her he's going to do a hard-hitting interview, and asked if Charlotte is worried about Ronda's submissions. To which Charlotte says that no, she's not. She doesn't care about Ronda's and her submissions. That she already beat Ronda, and that Ronda went and whined to management. And that now she's going to humiliate Ronda again. And then says that when Drew Gulak says, looks like you've already tapped out at WrestleMania. Charlotte said, no, I was fixing my bra. I wasn't tapping out. We don't tap out. And Drew Gulak is out of line. Then people started wetting at her. She started wetting at them. Then she said, well, tell me, Drew, did you quit wrestling to ask me stupid questions? And he said, well, yes, because people like you are used to quitting. The fans are quitters, but quitting is not in her DNA because she is a submission master and she's been submitting people for 10 years. And she told Drew Gulak to get the hell out of her ring. The moment Drew Gulak turned his back, she chop blocked him and put him in the figure eight, to which he tapped out repeatedly and then screamed, I quit. So I guess you explained why Drew Gulak was in this position. Everybody was absolutely acting up when Drew Gulak was made into a backstage announcer, which to me, I don't think is a bad idea. Because the reason why he's not getting that many opportunities as a wrestler is because he's short. So they're going to put him in a position. He's a good promo. I will say that Drew Gulak is a really good promo, and I liked him as Bryan Danielson's coach. I really liked that. I like that pairing. He could do that now. He could be the coach for somebody. You know, I don't think that there's that many people outside of blue check marks on Twitter who really give a shit about Drew Gulak not wrestling. Right? It's like, I just want to watch a Drew Gulak match. Like, who the fuck thinks that way? Who the fuck just randomly want to watch Drew Gulak? You know, like, I think he's a good wrestler. But if you make him a backstage interviewer, I don't care. You know, like, I don't care if he's a backstage interviewer. Would you rather him be fired? I don't. What do you think he's going to do if he's not being a backstage interviewer? He's going to wrestle matches and do 4-minute jobs? You're like, come on. Let the guy be a fucking interviewer if that's what he wants to do. And if he's good at it, and I think he is pretty good at it, you know, he's got a nice voice. He's got a good speaking style. Go for it. I don't think he's going to be doing this long term, however. I think it's just a thing for tonight because they wanted to put Charlotte over. And they used a man to do it. She did so in not in a typically dominant fashion. She was underhanded by chop blocking him from behind. So this worked. For me, it worked. I didn't knee-jerk react to Drew Gulak being, because I don't care that much about Drew Gulak. So there was no need for me to knee-jerk react about Drew Gulak being made into a backstage interviewer. I mean, he was running around for the 24/7 title, and nobody gave a shit. Hopefully, this backstage interviewer thing can work out, and maybe it'll morph into something else. Again, WWE, they put Pat McAfee in matches. Michael Cole has gotten in matches. Jerry King Lawler was 60 some odd years old. He was still getting put in matches. Michael Cole got put in the match. Pretty much everybody who touches a microphone in WWE at some point gets put in the match. With the exception of sort of the new generation, the Kayla Braxtons and Renee Paquettes, they didn't get put in matches. But Mean Gene Okerlund used to get put in matches. So, well, Jesse the Body Ventura, one time he had to do commentary, he was already retired. Him and Gorilla Monsoon, so they didn't wrestle. But Bobby the Brain Heenan would sometimes be put in matches. Like, you have to understand that in wrestling, the opportunity for you to actually wrestle may pop up at any point. You could be the referee and never know that you might get a chance to actually wrestle a match. Charles Robinson. You never know. So, just got to stick around. But I didn't care not Third match, Drew Gulak, not Drew Gulak, because there's two Drews. I just now realized that. Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn fled again via countout. Sami Zayn continued to run throughout this entire match. He says that his reputation took a bit of a hit at WrestleMania, but he's not afraid of Drew McIntyre, and that he's a master strategist, and it was all part of his plan. His plan is to regain respect. He still ran away anyway. So now Adam Pearce is going to make it a lumberjack match. My only problem with this storyline is this is similar to what Sami Zayn did as the Intercontinental Champion when he ran away from Big E all those times, and they ended up having to make it a lumberjack match. This wasn't that long ago. It's like a year ago when he did this. That Sami Zayn can't outthink somebody, so he's trying to escape. That's a good character trait that they're bringing back. Well, usually when something is recurring, that means that they're paying attention to the character. And I say in WWE, sometimes the characters are remarkably consistent. This is one of those times. Sami Zayn is in front of a guy he can't beat head up, so he's going to run away. He's going to get the fuck out of there. He's going to force you to put him in a situation where he has to fight this guy. I don't like that this match is 3 weeks in a row. I would have liked for them to do some breathing room in between these weeks. That way it doesn't feel so fillery, But these guys can have a good match when they actually are allowed to. So that was my problem. I wasn't really too upset because I figured Sami Zayn would run away again. Okay. So Ludwig and Gunther, they cut a promo. Ludwig says that Gunther will be here to protect the honor of this great sport and will weed out the weak, which Gunther says, you will obey. Bow to the ring. And I'm like, okay, that's not bad. They're keeping the Imperium mission statement. They're keeping the Imperium characters, so they changed the names. This bothered, obviously, some blue check marks. To me, I'm like, this is the important part of the characters. This is the money right here. They have a mission statement. And this allows them to have storylines. You can build storylines off of Gunther and Ludwig wanting to maul people and protect the honor of this great sport. That's good character work. Why would you want to change that? And why, who cares what their names are? Most people don't know what their names are anyway. So this was fine. And I thought this was great. I wouldn't have had Gunther speak. I like him as a silent type. I would have let Ludwig do all the talking, but it's okay. This was good. No problems. Ricochet says that Jinder Mahal is another, he called him something. That was pretty funny. He says that the Jinder Mahal can't match his ability. That when people call him flawless, it's not because he's perfect, but because he makes it look perfect. Then Ricochet defeated Jinder Mahal in a fairly short match with the shooting star press. Shanky saved Jinder from the first, would probably been a 450. Ricochet dived on both men, got Jinder Mahal back into the ring, and beat him with a shooting star press. I'm ready for Ricochet to work a storyline at any moment now. A solid win over Jinder Mahal, but I'm ready for a storyline now. All right, so Sheamus is hanging out with the lads, and it's all, hey, is there a problem in you guys' camp, Sheamus? Is that what do you guys got going on? Oi, we be fighting over the TV remote with far more intensity than that. What was that? That was basically a lover's quarrel we had over there. No big deal, no problem at all. Then Ridge Holland for somehow said that they lost Butch. And he ain't a bleeding set of keys, is he? How you need to lie and lose Butch? He's not a bleeding set of keys. He's not your wallet. But Ridge Holland, he was dead set that they lost Butch. Butch was gone. He had gotten all fired up over who the enemy was, and he took off running somewhere. So we go to commercial, we come back, and New Day is cracking jokes and signing autographs. They're autographing pictures and such. And then a flying Butch came onto this screen and tackled Xavier Woods. This son of a bitch grew rockets. He came in like the Rocketeer and took down Xavier Woods and started dribbling across his head. Man, what a spot. Kofi was shocked, of course, and was completely taken off guard. Sheamus and the rest of the lads, well, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, they showed up and it was a big pull apart brawl. And I love that Butch is, this little stick of dynamite that is absolutely going ape. He hates the New Day. He's got this really, really big problem with the New Day. And I love it. I think it's so much fun. It's far more fun than I'm the baddest man in NXT. It's far more fun than that. Lacey Evans is back. She's got a promo. And she's still telling her heart-wrenching story. Says that her father chased them down after they ran away. And it scarred her for life as he taught her lessons. Because he was abusive. And he, had mental health problems. And he eventually got an assault charge on him. That allowed them to flee again. And CPS and the cops were always in her life, but they never saved her. And that finding positives in the face of all this negatives is part of her strength. And that she's comfortable at rock bottom, but she's never needed any handouts, and that these types of things don't faze her. And of course, she gave her the other line of, I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I'm saying that they're not better than me. So many wrestling journalists got triggered by her saying that she didn't need handouts or didn't want handouts, as if, that's something. It's like, guess what? There's a lot of pride in some people that they don't like handouts. They don't like the welfare state. Some people don't like it. All right. Some people hate being on food stamps. Some people hate, public housing. They hate it. There's not people have pride. Pride exists. All right. And some people, even if they have to use it, they hate it. And some people would rather steal than use it. And this is something that, a lot of blue check marks don't seem to understand. They think that everybody loves everything that they like. And this whole promo thing got really weird, because we're going to talk about this in a second. So Natalya and Shayna Baszler are disgusted at the Lacey Evans promo. And they're like, look, listen, what the hell is going on with the SmackDown locker room? There's too many kids running around here whining and being entitled, and this new girl got her stuff all over the place. This used to be the land of opportunity. Now it's the land of misfit toys. And, Auntie Natalya is in there just absolutely upset. Shayna Baszler ain't listening. I don't know why they keep giving Shayna Baszler friends that she don't talk to or care about. She just she's like a stray cat. She just happens to be there. Like, she doesn't respond to anybody. She doesn't talk. Like, when she was with Nia Jax, she barely did anything. She just kind of floated through these promos. But anyway, Natalya's talking. And we see who she's talking about this time. And she's talking to Raquel Rodriguez. Because she's not Raquel Gonzalez anymore. She's Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez shakes hands with Natalya. It was completely phony, as Natalya welcomes her onto the roster. And I held myself back from really going off on a lot of wrestling journalists, especially that bodyslam.net weirdo, because there were so many of them that got offended. Not just off of Lacey Evans' promo, because she said she never wanted the handouts, but also at Natalya and Shayna Baszler dogging Lacey Evans and saying that, They hated this. They don't want to see this. This sucks. Because why would the heels say something like that? Why are they being so mean? Like, that's in such poor taste that they're using Lacey Evans' real life, and then there's bad guys who are saying bad stuff about it. I just looked at my screen, like, as I was scrolling through Twitter, I was just kind of like, I can't believe we've strayed so far from the reservation that heels doing basic heel shit, except, like, not feeling sympathy. Because all Natalya said was, look at this crap. Like, we all have had hard lives. And it was kind of like, ain't that right, Shayna? And Shayna's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm over here doing this thing. You know, like, I'm over here doing this thing. You keep talking. You know? And it's not like she said anything that was supposed to be derogatory about people on welfare or anything like that. You know, which they could have done, you know, which the $1 Million Man would have done. You know, Ted DiBiase or JBL would have done it. But Natalya that's not her character. Her character is all about respect and her being a veteran and everything. So that's kind of how, in the locker room, that's kind of how her character works. It's like she doesn't care about the sympathy. She don't have any sympathy for these people. Why would she? You know, we've been in this business for a long time. We demand respect. We don't care about this shit. You want sympathy. You don't want respect. And so they were so upset that heels would disregard Lacey Evans' painful story instead of empathizing and, I guess, weeping. Should they have cried, or should they have completely ignored it? It's like they're already building the story that there's going to be people who don't feel any sympathy for Lacey Evans for whatever reason. Maybe because they're just cold-hearted bastards like Natalya. And that's okay, because that's what heels do. Why are we crying about that? Why is that a problem? Lacey Evans his promo triggered a lot of people. And for some reason, her telling her story triggered the political motivations of other people. Because she said she didn't want any handouts and all this sort of stuff. So now everybody it's racist if you say Negroes are lazy, but Negroes are always triggered by the concept of you have to work for yourself and nobody's going to save you. Somehow that's triggering, but also being called lazy is triggering. Like, you got to pick a struggle, dog. You know, I don't know any lazy black people. Only lazy black people I know are people out there trying to steal and trying to rob folks. That's it, because they're trying to cut corners. Everybody else I know go to work. That's how it is. That's the hood. You go to work, you know, and you've been doing that probably since you was 16, 17 years old. Everybody that I ever can say I respected did not find being on food stamps to be a cool thing. Living in public housing to be something that was fun or something that was nice. They hated that shit. And when you have conversations with talking to people, I'm talking really talking to people, not having these silly political conversations. Because these political conversations turn into, well, I got to protect my favorite policy. I'm not allowed to talk bad about my policy, you know, even if it's something they wouldn't do. Like all these people out here who are pro-abortion, but they would never have one. You know, all these people are pro-public housing and they don't want to live in the projects, though. You tell them, okay, give up your house that you work for and go live in the projects since you love it so much. They're like, oh, no. I'm not going to go live in the projects. Hell no. I don't want an Obama phone. I want my nice iPhone that I paid money for. Yeah, you want that. You don't want the Obama phone, right? You don't want the same thing that everybody else got. For some reason, they understand when you're talking to them about them. But when you talk about other people who want that same incentive for themselves, all of a sudden, oh, you must be MAGA. You must be MAGA. You're obviously a racist. What? What the fuck about Lacey Evans' storyline is fucking racist or even race related? She's white. And purely fucking white. And her daddy is white. Like, there's nothing about this that is in any way a statement on race. She did what a lot of hood dudes do. A lot of hood dudes go into the military to get out of being fucking broke. So that's what she did. She went into the military because she didn't want to be fucking broke. It was the one time that she actually got to do something for herself. And a lot of people should be able to, you know, especially people who went into the military, especially people that I know that went into the military. You talk to them, why they go to the military? One, they love the country. Two, It was a job that I could do where I can make money. And if I survived the experience, I was going to be all right. You know, the college is going to be paid for, health care for the rest of your life, all that stuff. You don't got a problem with that. It is what it is. And I'd say, okay, well, I can appreciate that at least. You know, I would, being a libertarian, I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, look, I don't have a problem with it. It's hard work. You earned it. If you went through boot camp and you went out there in the sands and ate MREs, which look absolutely disgusting and is full of sodium, probably give you high blood pressure, and maybe you dodged a bullet or two. Maybe you thought there was a landmine out there somewhere, anywhere. Yeah, I could see how you might have earned to be able to go to college for free. Okay, I'm okay with that. It's a small price to pay, all right? Now, these people who are just the church of the perpetually offended, that they're offended by Lacey Evans having a pull yourself up by your bootstraps type storyline, which is pure American history. And that's what America is all about. Even the slaves, even the rich, quote unquote rich, slave owners, everybody had to work. There was no, the number of people who actually coasted in this country, even today, is very small. Almost everybody goes to fucking work and does something. Whether you consider it work or not, they do. And then that's the American dream. That's what America is, man. I hate to go on to ramble about this, but this type of shit where you see people, and that's the first fucking thing I saw when it comes to this promo, is I see a bunch of motherfuckers trying to twist it into some type of political message. Like, that's not a political message. It's the facts, bro. You grow up in an abusive, cops not always going to believe you. You grow up in an abusive household, yeah, shit's fucked up. You grow up poor, it's fucked up. That's real poverty. That ain't fucking white privilege. That ain't the shit that you read about in some book and told you that all white people have an easy pass through life. That's what you learned in school. In reality, there's some people out there that is some real fucked up situations, white, black, and otherwise. And then guess what? Ain't nobody coming to help them. There ain't no fucking social workers going to come in and save the day like you think that they are. No fucking civil rights lawyers going to fly out the fucking sky and lift you from poverty. You know that's not going to fucking happen. It doesn't work that way. And anybody who preaches that shit to you is a fucking moron. And if you believe it, you're a bigger fucking moron. It's not going to happen. Social workers don't do fucking shit until the damage is already done. The only person that's going to be able to save you from a bad situation is save yourself. You're the only person you can really rely on. If you got a good family around you, you can rely on them too. But if you're looking for the fucking government, good fucking luck. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. You got to bust your fucking ass. You got to get out there and get it. That's the facts. You got to put your focus towards something. You can't be scatterbrained out here, want to run the street, get high, get drunk, and do all this shit, and then expect all of a sudden the social workers are going to show up and help you out of your situation. No. Somebody's going to have to do something. Somebody's going to have to sacrifice. Somebody's going to have to say, hey, I'm brilliant, but I got to go be a brick basin. I got to go, mix some concrete. I got to go do roofing for 10, 12 hours a day. Somebody's going to have to be the person that's going to actually go out there and work. Somebody's going to have to actually work, not read fucking books. And somebody's going to have to go read a book so that they can put that money to good use. People are going to have to delegate some tasks. But if you keep thinking that what Lacey Evans did is some MAGA origin story or whatever the fuck he said, I was just looking at this shit like, bro, it's so myopic. Because this is bigger than politics. This is real life shit. A lot of people who watch SmackDown, they watching SmackDown on basic TV because they can't afford cable. That's the big draw of SmackDown, is that a lot of people that can't afford cable, man. Not everybody got the benefit of watching Raw through some pirate stream that because they paying through the nose and internet, or they, heaven forbid, they paying a lot for cable. So they're watching fucking YouTube clips and stuff like this, man. Like, you got to get off it, man. Like, that shit is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I'm embarrassed that every time I see it, it's some, low IQ black dude saying it too. Because that's the fucked up thing about it, is that you start getting black people labeled lazy, shiftless, who love public accommodations, because every time somebody says something about hard work, you get into the, he's a Republican, oh! It's like, fuck, so what? You think you didn't work for anything? Did people just walk around and hand you shit because you're black and handsome? You're black and beautiful? Oh, look at how curly his hair is. Give him a job. Look at how swelled his lips are. Like, no, that's not how the real world works. And you don't get nothing that you ain't earned. You went out there and earned it. So the message is, go out there and get it yourself. That's the message of the Lacey Evans promo. Why is that a bad thing? I have no idea. And I've already spent too much time on it. But it's ridiculous. And there's nothing I'm more passionate about than people not being stuck in poverty, because some poverty pimps think that, hey, if you go out and work hard, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, in the libertarian circles, and I have to say this, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. We talk about digging ditches, right? That you can dig a ditch for, you can work hard at digging ditches, but that work is not productive. So whenever I say work hard, I mean work hard at something productive. That's what I mean. Because, you can dig ditches forever. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to just keep digging holes and digging holes and digging holes. But if you're going into construction, something where you have to learn a lot of different dynamics, you might have to learn a little bit of stone masonry today, a little bit more brick mason tomorrow, learn a little bit more roofing, how to mix concrete, how to tile a floor, how to repair drywall, how to build a, load-bearing wall. There's going to be a lot of different things you're going to have to learn. And those skills, you can take them to do other things, like own your own company or work under the table and help people in the neighborhood. You want to, patch up this drywall here, learn how to paint so you can do something over there. It allows you to get yourself to learn some skills to get yourself out of your situation. That's the kind of shit that we should be talking about. Not sitting around, fucking around, worrying about social workers and civil rights lawyers. Who the fuck cares about all those people? Those people are fucking useless. Okay? The only time you need a social worker is when you already fucked up. That's the only time they can really help. Because you fucked up beyond repair by the time you get a social worker in your life already at that point anyway. But I'm going on too long. All right, sorry about the political rant at the end. I saw that Lacey Evans is a MAGA character. I was just kind of like, fuck you. That's so fucking offensive, dog. It's like anytime somebody talks about doing something for yourself, all of a sudden it becomes Republican. It's like, do you guys not work? Like, you guys, what the fuck do you do all day? How do you not work? How can people be so against working and yet have so much shit? They got podcasts and, it's always selling t-shirts and all. It's like, you capitalist than a motherfucker, and you talking about, and you're against work. How could that be? But it's all about they don't see their own blind spot. They just want to be a part of a clique. And that clique is anti-work, anti-capitalism, anti-independence, anti-individualism. And it's all fucking stupid because it's what got them where they are today. It's fucking dumb. But, sometimes we just have to yell about stuff, and I yelled about it. But like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later.